All right, this is a special one. Not to make you feel old, but you are. I think this is the oldest podcast we've had for a coach on the level 3 path, which is like someone out there changing lives. 58 years old, absolute hero for
Incredible.
me personally.
Yeah.
And we're just all gonna grill you. So bring us to the beginning, how you found ATG, and we'll just keep going from there.
Well, I was on the internet, on YouTube. I've been a researcher for decades on, like the schools, all of the, what's actually real, all that kind of stuff. And one of your videos came in my feed. It was it was how to become a world-class athlete, or how you could become a world-class athlete, something like that.
Maybe it was a bit bold of a name, but it was.
Well, I mean, it was like, and I clicked on it because I don't remember what I was looking up some fitness stuff, or whatever. Somehow you came in there, and usually you okay, whatever, and something compelled me to click on that, and I started watching. I was like, man, this is legit. I was like, I don't know, when you really know truth, it like rings like a bell. Mm-hmm. It like your intuition just, you're like, oh, okay. I'm going, okay, this isn't just like a great, Spartacus workout or something. It's like, okay, this is something. You went through the Nordics, all that, all what you've done, and I was like, how do I not know this? I was like, this is like a missing piece. Like, I mean, I knew like immediately.
That's awesome.
That's so
like, not like, it wasn't like, it was like, I sat there and watched 2 hours or more of your video. Like, cause it kept coming up with it, and I just kept, going, okay, yeah, this. And so I was like, yeah, this is legit. I started working on it immediately.
You were probably one of the first certified coaches, because we've been friends for a few years now. So
yeah,
one of the first certified coaches, and I know now because I'm seeing the footage, seeing you dragging Hakeem Olajuwon backward on the sled out of Lifetime Fitness. So you're in Lifetime Fitness. Is that where you were training from at the time already?
At the time, I wasn't even training like as a profession.
I see.
I always had people ask, like unofficially, I would train them. I trained a lot of people how to, like road bike racing. I was pretty proficient at road biking. That's what I was really into for maybe 20 years. So
you seem like you get good at things that you put your mind to.
I do. And I also, like, believe it or not, at the same time, I'm like bike racing, and was really high level at pool, like 8-ball, like
wow.
Played.
You keep it, and then if I want to say something, I'll pull it, just because I don't want it to sound weird.
It's not going to sound bad because if we're just acknowledging.
Okay, yeah.
But if we're going to originate something.
So, but anyway, I played tournaments in Vegas. I actually played a guy that is I forgot his name, Rafael Martinez. He won the world 9-ball championship before. He beat Rafael, or he beat one of the great, like the Michael Jordan of pool. I actually played him in a tournament, so I know what it takes, mindset, as far as being able to shut off the mind and think in pictures and feelings. And because when I was doing that, I sometimes you'd choke and miss the 8-ball, or after you did all the work, ran all the table, you were down to the final shot, and you choke it, and you're like, and then I would get mad at myself for days, and just the mental challenge, overcoming that, to where at the point, then I got to the point where it was I didn't think at all, and then I was a really good closer.
Wow.
And then I wouldn't worry about it. Wow. It was okay, I like have my routine. You feel the nerves. You're like, okay, this, fire. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, you did, you did your best.
So you can mentally lock in. So a few years ago, you must have been 54, 55 at the time. Found ATG, locked in. Now you're training a bunch of people. So fill in the gaps for us. You went from seeing this on YouTube. Now you're creating life-changing success stories for people. Like how did you get started training people? How did this happen from the time you saw the videos to now?
Well, I started on the path to learning the movements and getting certified. So when I finally said, well, I'm going to get certified, I already could do all the level 1 movements, So I was like, I turned them in like right away, and I was, I was really at a point. I was really lost for a lot of years. I was went through a bad divorce. Was like a abusive relationship for years and years and years. And I should have left and had no money at all, zero. Like freaking rented a room from a friend of mine, and we shared a bathroom. I shared a bathroom with his girlfriend's senior in high school daughter for like 8 months. But I was down, and then I got a job back at selling homes for Lennar Homes, because I had done that. I'd freaking done everything in my life probably, but I went back there and then I just killed it.
Wow.
And totally built back up, and then
Amazing.
Lost everything again.
Oh no.
And then when I was here, I invested in a chocolate business like Bean to Bar, really into super clean food. I've been a type 1 diabetic for 40 years. Haven't produced insulin since 1985. Wow. And so this is the chocolate I would make. It was like the top beans in the world. Marañón from Peru. They did documentaries on it. And so this buddy of mine was just like a master at, it was like 2 ingredients. And we were like the only people that expeller pressed the cocoa butter from the high-end bean that had all the flavors in it. So in the chocolate, it only had the bean, and then biodynamic. It was like a cane juice that was it was processed the day of harvest.
Wow.
It was super pure, and then we had a sugar-free version that didn't even mess with my blood sugar at all. That was super clean. So I was like, this is awesome. So we got it into Whole Foods.
Oh wow.
Central Market, and he was didn't know how to run business, and I didn't either. I was a mess, at the time, and I just ended up losing all that money, and so literally I was in a mental fog for years. When I met you first time when I came down here, I was not good. I mean, I looked good on the outside, but I mean, as far as just going through depression, and you're freaking laying in a fetal position, just trying to get the activation energy because it was like you're going through a fog all the time. And then I finally really just broke through, actually studying a lot of Bruce Lee and different mindful stuff, different. I finally learned how to really shut the mind off, not attached to those voices, and that I was very self-critical. So you get mad, you just get mad at yourself and beat yourself up.
That could be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. You so you want that push, but then it's so when you think about, do you have somebody that if you told your best friend, or if I told you I was man, I screwed up at this thing, or I lost this money. I just did something not good happen, and you blame yourself. You know, so would they just yell at you and tell you how crappy you are? You know, but then when you have to have compassion for yourself, that voice in the head is just beating you down 24/7. You wake up and I need to do this, that, you know, and finally I just really like realized how just being having all your focus to whatever you're doing right now, not worried about what's happening tomorrow, what, you know, because everything is right now.
That's a great lesson for coaches.
Yeah.
You're coaching people. That was probably one of my strengths in person.
Yeah.
I mean, most people know me as the social media guy, but I've still spent more years not on social media than on social media coaching people. And that was probably my best strength. Like I would notice it in other coaches you could tell they weren't all there. They weren't focused. So this is a great lesson because think about all the coaches out there. They're going to have all kinds of different lives, different things that could be distracting them out of the moment, could be self-criticizing on, right? We've got all these different pasts and stuff. But as a coach, that's a fundamental right there.
Yeah.
You're coaching people like you're in the moment doing it. And that was, for me, it was like so good for me to actually help people see it. Like it gave me a purpose. To this day, it's like, that's what drives me. Maybe I'd have, you know, problems if I didn't have this job of helping people. That's actually like really helps me out. But the point of being in the moment, that's like a really important lesson for coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got there is the business side and this and that and the technical detail. But number one is like being so in the moment. It seems like you're like that with your clients because I'm seeing these videos of them like mastering forms. Like it seems like you're using this as a really good skill with them.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm totally a perfectionist. Like as far as I watch, I see like in the gym, all these classes, I've been going to high intensity classes for years. There'll be 50 people in the class and maybe like me and my girlfriend might be the only one doing proper technique.
Yeah.
Like only one. Like they're, you know, I'm looking around, going through the gym. I mean, we have 2,000 people come in the gym. I think we got like 1,500 to 1,800 swipes a day in that gym. And I see maybe out of way less than 1% that are actually doing good movements, that know how to move.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and
This brings up a great point.
Yeah.
Go on if you're going to finish that.
Well, I was gonna kind of talk about, you know, being in the moment. So when I'm coaching somebody and I'm like, okay, what are you feeling right now? How do you feel? I said, I want you to just feel like, you know, they try to bounce out of the bottom and they're going. I said, no, I said, control it. I said, feel everything that's happening. I want you to feel all that tension in there. I want you to feel all that because we're setting the mind-muscle connection. Mm-hmm. We're basically wiring the neural pathways, and now we're going slow. I say slow is strong. So right here, you're learning what all these movements feel like. You know, you're getting very close to your limit, and you're knowing what that feels like. Yeah. Then when you get strong here, and then we add speed. So then when you go in and you're doing like a class or you're playing your sport, you can actively feel all that instead of it's just like
avoiding the feeling.
Jerky movements, or you know, or like you're just kind of, you're not really feeling anything. You're just kind of, and then all of a sudden, you know, you can get all it takes is an instantaneous force in a position that the tissues are not ready for. Somewhere along the chain, if the tissue is weak, and you get beyond its limit, it's going to break. Then you have a strain. Then it could be, oh, I just, you know, feel this weird thing here, you know. And so going slow and really feeling everything, I really focus on that a lot when I'm training.
Huge missing link. This is stumbling into something that's really important. If you look at the world and you look at group fitness is clearly needed. It's a needed thing. from like you train people out of the Lifetime Fitness. There's classes there. There's classes at CrossFit. There's like people need this. For a lot of people, it really works to have a group. It keeps your motivation. The coaches tell you what to do. But if you look at almost across group fitness, there's not much control through full ranges of motion. Like the actual owning the movements is not there. Like this is something that would change millions of lives if there was classes people could go to and like own movement quality. It's almost like a trade-off of like, oh, you go to classes of some sort, that means you're like beating the shit out of yourself. Like you almost, like if you want to be a part of like an awesome group, like even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, freaking awesome. But it's like the CrossFitters and Jiu-Jitsu, I know it's almost like a trade-off of like to be a part of this group, you have to get the shit beat out of yourself. Now, that could be taken out of context because I think those are both fantastic things. Yeah. I'm just pointing out the ATG philosophy is balance, meaning I think Jiu-Jitsu is great. How about the person who does Jiu-Jitsu also just has an option in addition to that? The CrossFitter has an option in addition to that. CrossFit gyms would be perfect places to run ATG classes and balance out where you're actually controlling and owning movements through full ranges of motion. That's not like there's not just like a go-to class you can do for that. That needs to exist.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I call it a hardware upgrade. I said I get people strong from the inside out. I said now when you go back and you take Ashley's class, you're going to be amazed at how much easier it is, and you're able to get into all these ranges without like having to hurry out of it because you got too much weight, and and your knees start hurting if you go past 90 degrees, or you're scared to. Your body's just saying, hey. No, you're not ready for this. Don't do that.
Yeah. Actually, there is a balance to it, which has also been extremely successful, which is yoga classes. Yoga classes are tremendously successful. So ATG is just like, where's the class for the in-between? ATG is the in-between. You're getting the stretching of yoga, but with strengthening through those ranges. We're not just doing slow, like we're also pushing sleds. Like you're showing me the classes in Lifetime, you've got people on wood floors with sleds with towels underneath. So they're sledding. So we're sledding. That's all higher, faster leg positions, adding resistance to it. We're going forward and we're going backward and we're doing full range. Like that's it.
And
the key word, the key word is balance. We're doing shorter ranges and full ranges of motion. We're doing some faster, but also some slower, controlling the movements. We're doing quads and hamstrings. We're doing front of the body and the back of the body, a blend of strength and flexibility. So we saw it in person. Our gym was overflowing with people before I was ever on social media. That's what drove the social media push, is the amount of people in person saying this needs to go on social media. And to this day, people want it back. That's why we're making a public gym again. People want a place where they can go to a class that's designed to make them more resilient for whatever other activities they have, but where once you start pushing that sled, you're getting a metabolic workout. Like you can look great, you can have a six-pack, you can get stronger, but you can go at your own pace. You don't have to beat yourself up. So what would that look like for you if you were going to mock up? Because the way you look and move at 58 is insane. I'm not going to be the one that convinces Lifetime to have group ATG classes.
No.
You are. You're the result people want. That is a valuable result. To move the way you do, looks aside, right? But to move the way you do, be able to get a good metabolic workout, I think that's what actually the majority of people want. So Absolutely. They're going to whatever group classes exist, but what they want is they actually want a blend of these things, and they want to be able to go at their own level and not have to work through pain. So mock up for us now, like what you think that would look like. Like just put the vision there of like, if Lifetime said, okay, your ATG class is going to be like a class now at Lifetime, like how would you set that up? What would that look like?
Well, so Lifetime has a couple different formats. They have what's called a signature small group classes, and those are typically out like on the floor. We got like the Alpha Strength. We have 10 squat racks with the platforms. The whole, we got 5 on each side.
Yeah.
and then the big area in the middle. Now that's where I run my training right now. Ideally, that would be, I would probably just do it right there.
Yeah.
Up to 10.
Yeah.
Now I ran some workshops, like I just put them on the app, and people, I put it like a 4 limit, and 12 people showed up. I went into one of the group fit studios, and they have like the steps, like the but you can stack them. And then I have the orange kind of mobility sticks.
Oh yeah.
If you're they're
like perfect for regression and balancing.
Yeah, to hold. So I give them to hold on to that. I used they had small dumbbells I used as wedges.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could have wedges. So if you have steps, if you have wedges, and if you have some kind of sled.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have those 3, I feel like you can run a class.
Absolutely. So there's several different levels. So what I'm in the process of doing right now is, because I have, I've got some young guys that are 20, 21, 20, and they're like real fit. They're wanting to jump higher. They're wanting to be more unbreakable. They want to get more resilient. And they can, I can slaughter them. I can, just I'll have them superset, deep squats and in Nordics or Nordics and Jefferson. I'll do a circuit, Nordics, Jefferson curl, and like cyclist squats.
Oh yeah.
And stuff.
Amazing.
Like that, and then we'll maybe do a upper body. Do that for 20 minutes, and then do stretch, and then some upper body circuit. Pull-ups, and and so and they've told me in just like a week, they're like, one guy was like, man, I grabbed the rim today. Could it be like in 2 workouts? I was like, well, I don't know, but he's like, I definitely can feel that I'm moving a lot better, because they were tight, but even just after a few workouts, their split squats looking good. They're already doing weighted split squats, and so you have that level, the people that are already now, and then I have many people that are 50 and 60 that just are horrible movers. They can't even, like they can't even.
But you're getting results with them.
Yeah, so I got some of them.
That?
I got them all going squatting all the way down now.
How are you doing that?
Man, I start them off, split squat with the. However high I got to put the front leg to get that knee, because a lot of times their knees won't close.
Yeah.
And you just start there, and then you start having them pull themselves up, like getting down into a squat. I mean, I had several people that were so scared to, like, they first started, they could only go like this, and they were like, oh, I can't. And within a week or 2. Doing full range on a slant board, pulling themselves up. I said, do you remember like 2 weeks ago, you didn't think you could ever do this? And then, now they're doing it, and also I think I give them a lot of confidence, just because they see me, and they're like, okay, you're how well, you're going to be 59 this summer, and I'm 50, and you're no, this shouldn't be, and so
we're gonna have to when you keep me posted when you turn 60. We'll schedule a whole birthday video, look into your training, because that's going to be something really special for ATG for people to see. I kind of did something a little bit like that when my mom turned 70. But you're obviously taking it to so much further levels. She's got like her specific stuff at 70. We got Jeff Reed's trying to dunk at 50. Yeah. But like what you're going to do at 60 is going to be like, this should be like millions of people should be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, it's just what we've been sold that our capabilities are just a total lie. I mean, they're they're so way beyond, and I have people, in the gym, because I have my locker in a certain area, and I've been seeing guys for years and years there. I know everybody there. And and someone would say, well, I'm getting old. And I said, don't ever let those words come out of your mouth. I said, do you know how powerful your words are? You're literally casting a spell on yourself, and your subconscious and everything else is going to follow. So I've never said that about myself ever, because I don't believe it's true. It's, we have abilities, and I think that as long as you use them, you're not going to lose them. They're going to lose them a heck of a lot slower. That's for sure, because it really comes down to, and I say that, I tell, a lot of my clients, I talk about, when you were a child, were you able to get in this position? We were all able to move. And, and I would say, well, I'm just getting old. I said, no, you you basically just lose what you don't use. Everything deteriorates that's not used. Like if you leave a car out in the middle of a field and it gets rained on for 30 years and it's rusty, and like you go out there and you try to start it, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
So what do you think's happening to the tissues in your body, your joints, that haven't, they've been sitting in a chair all at 90 degrees for 40 years, hardly just getting up and down, and never stressing the end ranges, especially in the connective tissue. What do you think is going to happen?
That's one of the biggest lies that's occurred. That's one of the biggest things that we're still 1% of the way there to people understanding, is that that's not how bodies work. They're going to preserve better by accessing that, but at the pain-free level. So people have not become masters. What we do is extremely simple. We're addressing ability rather than avoidance, but then we're trying to master, how do we find a level of ability that you can do without pain? Because just avoiding ranges of motion, hasn't worked, doesn't it? Even studies show it, and you can definitely see it when you start training people and you see the amount of joint replacements and stuff. But if people who have gone 10, 20 or more years of being told not to use the joint, so that's the line number one, is to avoid ability. So we're facing ability, but yes, you do then have to master, how do you address that ability at the pain-free level? So that's where people get scared. You got either avoidance or working through pain. It's in between the two. And I was also going to comment for coaches that it definitely seems like in that 10-person range, I don't know if ATG is ideal for, a 40-person boot camp.
Yeah, I don't think so.
At least not at this time. It would have to be a very special. It could happen. It would have to be such a large area that you've got 20 sleds. It's not realistic at this time for ATG to be like a boot camp. I think personal training is best, or small groups, or maybe in that 10-person. We would have
even up to 20, what we
as they learn the movements.
As
exactly.
they learn the movements, correct.
The better they learn the movements. If you had a 50-person football team, you would just gradually teach them the movements and they would get it.
Correct.
But 50 newbies at the same time.
Yeah, no.
No, that's what. That's the main one of that's a major deal that I have, is because you have newbies that they have to learn these movements are so foreign to them. The split squat, the actual all the way down split squat. Yeah, they have to, once they graduate to that level, if you get everybody up to where they can do the movements, that's why my plan is to have different levels of so more of a beginner level, and then and then you graduate to then we're going to have these classes. These are for more advanced, and you could do more dense, more for my 20-year-old athletes. But I showed you the video of it. I have a family. The lady and her daughter, they're beasts. I mean, they've been going to classes for 10 years, and they're one of the best in there. And they brought their dad has not done anything. He's 52, looks like he's 80. No, but you know, he has not moved. He's worked. He's got a big family,
Yeah.
and he has not done any movement at all. You know, and you know, on the first session, you know, I mean, I just had him like he couldn't even like his knee would just bow out trying to do a split squat on a box on a 30-inch box. Just the movement. It wasn't like the knee would fold like this, you know, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a lot of work. So when we start, at first I said, because I had them all together in a small group, I said, if I have an hour before or after, I wanted you to just come by yourself, and so I can work, because you know you're at a different level, and then I will have you know the ladies do their workout. And so, but then it got, you know, then I fill those times up, you know, so I don't have the time. So now I have the workout for them, and I'll have them superset. I'll usually always have like 2 movements.
Yep.
And then I'll work with the man one-on-one at the same time. So we got a rack here, a platform, and I got all this space out here. I'll usually drag a 45-degree back extension or a bench. I just drag what I need over there.
That's smart.
You know, and then I'll work with him, and so like his level of being able, like we think, you know, you got to do this stuff to be a work, you know, I mean, 3 sets of like not a very hard movement is tough for them.
Yeah.
So you're meeting them where they are.
I think you have nailed down some super key points, honestly, for ATG classes. I think the levels of a class, like beginner, intermediate, advanced, is unbelievable, which we've never discussed before. And that alone, I feel like you'd have a smaller group for level 1, where everyone needs really individualized attention. 3 or 4 people, you work with the one, you know, they're all in the same category, so they're all really willing to have you focus on this one. You know, everyone can almost hear the critiques that you're doing with this person, so they can learn the movement for themselves better and better. Then you would have an intermediate group. So they kind of know what they're doing, but not fully. So they still need more supervision. Maybe you'd have like, I don't know, 6 there, 7, you know, 6 or 7. Then a more advanced group, you could have your 10 or the 20 or whatever ones, if you were doing circuits and things like that, where you could put more people through. But I think that piece of information alone could be very beneficial. So you don't have to just do personal training with someone. You don't have to just throw yourself in a class with so many people. And if the ATG coaches that are listening to this figured out how to do that, I think that could be such a unbelievable gold mine that doesn't exist right now in these little like curated classes for their exact level. And then I just wanted to add, it's really interesting that you mentioned when people say something about themselves, I'm old or whatever. I remember at my first job, there was a lady who was younger than my employer, and she would say that. She's getting into their car, she's like, I'm an old lady, you know, and this person was in their 50s at that point. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, but you're saying that. Like, you literally are old because you're like, couldn't move. It's okay. Someone's playing the piano, which is totally fine. Hopefully, it's encouraged. We have our own kids, so let's, you know.
It also won't really show up on the.
Bring it on.
Yeah,
but
my son's usually back there drumming, so this is nothing.
Exactly. So I thought it was just really interesting for you to mention that, because I remember this is 15 years ago, my first job. I'll never forget this vision of her getting in the car, saying how old she was, and she literally was that old. She could barely walk, in her 50s, but vocalizing that, you know, like, I'm so old, I'm so old, I'm so old, everything she was so old about, and she really acted so old. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting, and there was one last thing that I wanted to say, and I don't remember knowing that you want the microphone.
It's okay. I'll hand it right back if you remember.
It's okay. But I love that you're living in the present. So Ben had the microphone. I didn't want to take it back and forth, but the fact that you're in the present, not worrying about the future. I think you should be smart about the future and set goals for the future. But I don't think someone needs to stress about the future or the past. The past is the past. You can't do anything but learn from it. So take that and live today from your lessons and then set your goals for the future. But like everything that you're saying, which I didn't get to really say because for the first time today, we got one mic between me and Ben. I think that you have like a very great mindset for people that you've had to figure out for yourself.
Yeah, it's all trial and error. And so, and just to that point of being in the present moment, okay, so you're planning for the future. So right now, that's what you're doing. Yeah. You're planning for the future. You're setting your plans. You have all your focus on that right now, for now, however long you set aside to do that. Okay, but then when I go to the podcast, I'm on the podcast right now.
That's exactly right.
When I'm going to do the training. Mm-hmm. So you go in and I'm training. I'm feeling my body. I'm trying not to, think about, the argument I got into and, having that kind of just replay on auto repeat in your head. Because what happens is these thoughts come up, you grab onto it. Now all you're doing is just feeding it energy. And then they carry you away. It takes you over. So then you're not. You might be pushing the sled, but you're having an argument. You're having an argument with somebody in your head.
Yeah.
That that upset you. You're not really here.
Totally. Super impressive that you've gotten yourself to that. I really like how you worded it all.
I was just gonna say too that for the person in their 50s who's like, I'm getting old, I can't blame them because I've been there as like, well, my knees are just shot from basketball. Like that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had never seen someone improve their knees. That wasn't part of my. So this person who's in their 50s and they're just old.
Yeah.
That person may have never seen someone improve their mobility in their 50s. So you're now showing it. I see it in the comments when I post videos of my mom that people even go, wow, like that's my inspiration. Like I didn't even know I could improve my mobility past a certain age. So you're showing that to people. So I think it's like for the person saying that, stop saying it, but then you find someone who's doing it. And you're showing people that. So it's they shouldn't be saying it, but I'm guilty because I've done the same thing with my knees. I didn't know you could change the knees. I thought, all right.
Also, this is just a random tidbit, but the word retire, if people are like, I can't wait to retire, the derivation is decay. So sometimes, literally people are saying these things. So people, in my opinion, they want to be able to work. They want to be able to move. You can still not have to work for somebody else and you can do your own things, but garden and this and that. It's just an interesting mindset to be able to say that. I love how you put today because I think everybody is able to self-criticize or say things that they don't actually mean out loud, including I can think my dad, like something would happen and be like, this is going to kill me. Well, my dad ended up dying from cancer. Like everything you're saying is just like pretty spot on. So I love hearing that from you.
I was going to add too for a coach. I do like that idea that you can have a foundation intro class.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have to set up the squat racks for squats, but the more advanced person might be a little bit pissed if the squat racks are not available. So definitely something we're going to take into consideration with our big public gym we're making based on these tips in this. We do these podcasts for a couple of reasons. One is like, we like to know our top coaches out there, like actually know them, not just know what they look like on social media.
Yeah.
Right.
So we would rather talk with you than just think about social media. So we really appreciate that aspect, but also gotten so many good ideas from these. And it's something to seriously consider about is that there's a class that that the people there are new to it. Or for some people, like I know how my mom and dad are, they would simply want to master, might have to come up with a little bit better of a name for it that excites them a little bit about their mobility or whatever.
Yeah.
But they probably wouldn't, I know their style, they wouldn't want to progress to the barbell squats. They would actually really enjoy mastering the foundations.
Yeah.
and then they
Have
could
a
know
master foundation class.
exactly, like
Yeah.
they could know and predict. So either for someone who's brand new to it, or for someone that's like more their style,
Yeah.
that they want to just keep those basics in. So
Yeah.
incredible idea.
I have a large percentage is not ready for barbell squats. I do a lot of stuff on the slant board, a lot of goblet squats, a lot of like real slow, like 8-second down, pause at the bottom, explode up. I use cyclist squats a lot because those are hard even for the young guys, because you go down like up a quarter down all the way up, and they really have to control it. There's no hiding. And that's kind of how I describe it. So there's nowhere to hide in these movements. You're not. Don't you want to control it all the way through.
Yep.
So I got another thing though about sometimes even 4 people is tough. When you have someone they have some issues, they have some knee problems, it's like I really need one-on-one a lot of times. On a lot of people need one-on-one. Like
sure.
they especially getting going.
That could even get them into group work.
And then but even if you have like 4 people brand new, and I've had this, they showed up for like a workshop, they're all in their 50s, maybe even 60s, like they every one of them needed one-on-one for each movement.
Yeah.
So so I just had to go a lot slower. Okay, I had all this stuff planned, but no, because I need to coach each person on the reverse step up or the split squat. We'd all do like if it's a bigger class, we just did like tibs and calves against the wall, and that was the warm up. Or we have reverse treadmills that have resistance.
Yeah.
That
The
are
skill mills, right?
Yeah, like
those
a
great.
skill mill.
Yeah.
Or even all the treadmills at Lifetime have a sled simulation.
Oh, amazing.
Every single one of them. There's
Amazing.
100 of them. So you can put on there the resistance either from 0 to like 200 pounds or
Incredible.
more, and do backward work.
Amazing.
So I would put a pad behind them and just have them set it up at their level.
Yep.
But
Smart.
yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges I have is not being able, needing to do one-on-one with like beginners.
This is good awareness. Even if a coach was going to have classes, make your personal training very well known. You can even use the personal training to get someone, resilient enough that then they totally know what they're doing in a class. And you can also plan out, if you do have more intro classes, you can plan out the tempos and stuff a bit smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
The amount of exercises you could take. And what we would do is we would use that sled to really get people pumping, get people a lot of forward and backward sled to get warm, get pumping. Then you could use a really simple tempo on like a few exercises, and you could have yourself like a full body circuit mastering the form. Because you could, just by adjusting the tempo on a squat, if now they've got to control 5 seconds down at least on a squat, if they've got to pause on a split squat, all of a sudden the coaching becomes like much easier on getting the form right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tempo is huge too, as far as especially like some of the real knee issue, like people really broke, they got their surgery scheduled already. I use a combination of, especially on the split squats, of different tempos and pulses and at the bottom, and I really want them to understand like full, like I'll tell them to relax everything at the bottom, like just have a moment where you let go of all tension, and then engagement. So think of full relaxation of the body with engagement of the areas that are being active, and then release. So I that's one of the main things that I think it really helps some of the people that are really broken, is learning how to completely release the tension and what it feels like to fully stretch under load at the bottom without, because they're always tense. Yeah. They're always tense, and once they release that, there's like the I don't know, the tissue stretches out, and I don't know, it really helps the mind muscle connection. That's what I found. So
yep, totally makes sense. Yeah, pause tempos at the bottom, slow tempos down, can all of a sudden take what someone can't do and fears doing and is avoiding doing, and gradually improve ability at that with little to no pain. It's you can take the thing that you are told not to do, think you can't do, manipulate the tempo. So for beginner classes, that's, even for me in coaching, soon I'm going to be coaching groups of kids and stuff, mastering the control down and the pause on squats, game changer for class setting.
Absolutely. And to your point, what you said about, pain-free, and I really talk about that a lot in all my training. I said that, like, we do not. I said, what does it feel like? Are you getting a sharp stabbing pain? Yeah. I said, no, because I said, you're going to feel tension. It's not going to be comfortable. But if you're getting a stabbing pain, that's your body is telling you that we're not ready for this. And if you're getting a stabbing pain, I want you to completely hold yourself, lower yourself into the position, and pull yourself up. Yeah. So because we want to move into that position without pain, because we're driving. That's how we're driving the adaptation. We're driving the blood flow and all the fluids, and because the body's saying, hey, they're moving us into this position, and I don't think they're going to quit. So we better bring in some resources here to build this up.
Yeah, it's interesting. This stuff just totally has my mental wheel spinning, because like you said, at the Lifetime, you got 10 squat racks. For a beginner class, you could have like a band hanging from each squat rack, so you're assisting yourself, where at least it's there. So you're just trying to like master body weight in a full squat. Whereas for more advanced, they're going to want to load the bar. But that is what's interesting. There is the potential, because it's so scalable. If you have those 10 squat racks set up, and every person learns you can assist, you can body weight, or you can load, like you actually could handle a lot of people at absurdly different levels. Like you really could have a grandma and a pro athlete training at the exact same time. Now, as we were discussing before the podcast, it's the application is an art. Yeah. That's why there's a podcast for this. That's why it's not just, here's the sheet. I wish it was like that simple. Here's the sheet. This is all you'll ever do. It's an art. That's why you listen to this stuff. And you can tell when new coaches get it in there, they're hoping there's some like magic answer that they won't have to think anymore, and they won't have to like do their own observation. Yeah. I truly wish there was, but you're still going to have to observe for each person. There's no just magic. Oh, the way that lady walked in, robotic AI tech, she's going to need exactly this level. There's not how it works.
There's no hack. Mm-hmm. There's no shortcuts. There's really no shortcuts for anything in life. You just have to put in the work. You just have to get good. You just have to be passionate and get good. Get
good at whatever you're doing.
Work
the reps.
Hard. You have to do the reps.
Yeah.
Getting good says it. So I mean I think that's a perfect way to finish off.
Yeah.
Because we try to have these, under 40 minutes where a coach can listen. Get good. Like, work hard makes sense to a point. Yeah. But there's people who work hard and keep making the same failure. Like work hard it's just not fully get good. Mm-hmm. That might require some hard work, but get really good. So, and that's what you've done. So at 58, you've gotten really good at this, and it's having these effects. That's the ticket. Get really good.
And that's probably why you're doing so well, because you are competent. You got good at this. From what I hear, you didn't do personal training your entire life. You just started doing this 3 years ago. There's people that are personal training that are hurting people, that don't know what they're doing, that's skirting by, they didn't get good.
And they may have worked hard.
And they may have worked super hard for years and years and years, but the competence, anyone can observe competence in any area. I've always told Ben, if you become the best in one thing, you can move over. The best actress becomes the best singer. The best swimmer becomes now in commercials and movies because they were the best. Now, I'm not saying you have to be the best in whatever you're doing, but get good. Like you said, be competent. Make your service worth something to someone, because you know what? People will throw money at you for your service if you are good at what you do. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Any final words for all these coaches out there?
Get good.
This man's good. Now,
Yep.
pressure's on to see how good you can be at 60. That's going to be something newsworthy to, not that it's not newsworthy now, but we can actually plan out and do it. You know, you can do a whole educational series on this at 60 is going to be really important.
Right. And yeah, just really assess what level the people are at. I mean, that's so, being able to really understand where they're at and being able to take them where they're at, no matter how broken they are, and get them a little better every day. I tell them this is like compound interest. Can you imagine what you're going to be like in a year? And I have people like Karen that had the Harrington rod in her back, and she had like 15 personal trainers before me, and she's done Pilates, and she's gone to every natural healer there is. Like I mean, we're talking about she's like been down every path, and she's got like two like special needs kids that are like 25. They're like not what do you call it? Autism, like severe.
Yeah.
You know, like she's just battled so much, and like for her to say, I've never had anything like this with with you, like you're like beyond like anything I've ever experienced with coaches and stuff like that. So, and that sometimes you don't realize yourself, because you're like, you don't realize how you're affecting other people, because you're criticizing yourself and you're always thinking maybe, not good enough. Don't underestimate what you know, because you know a lot more than what the people that are coming for help. You know a lot more than they do, and trust in your abilities, and just do your best. Yep. And just be good and trust in your abilities. Don't second guess.
Beautiful closing. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. Thanks, brother.